So today I want to work on one of my favorite parts when it comes to woodworking and maintenance and taking care of your stuff, and that is sharpening. So let's go and check out my setup. This is my sharpening station, I guess you could call it. This is where I have my Tormek T8. Now the way I have organized this here is water. I need water. I have my stones right here. Initially when I first started using the Tormek, I was using their grindstone. This is their original stone, which I still like a lot. I use this one quite a bit. When you have just one stone, you don't have to think about where to store your stones, right? But then got their 3 diamond stones. So I was debating for a while, like, how should I store my stones? Because they're kind of large and cumbersome, and I don't want to like put them in the drawer where they get kind of lost, or they could get chipped or damaged or anything like that. So what I ended up doing is just putting on have these rods here. That are just coming through a hole here on this board, and I put the board on the wall and the stones just slide on here. It's a rather good setup, I would say. I mean, they're protected, they're easy to take on or off. I have 3 different diamond stones and they all have different grits, which means that you actually switch them out rather frequently when you are sharpening. So it's nice to have easy access to them. I was just debating, okay, what should I use? I'm gonna use the coarse wheel today. This is their coarse diamond wheel. Here we have this guy right here, slips on here, and we need to get some water. And since we're using the diamond wheel today, we're going to use a little bit of the anti-corrosion liquid in here as well. So this is just to prevent rust. Now let's take a look at my jig drawer. Let's see what we have to work with. Band-aids, in case you need one, which you probably will need one. Now the jigs that I use more than anything is, first of all, this guy right here. So this is what I use for chisels and like plane blades. Okay, we got this one, it's like for knives. Once in a blue moon when I do scissors, larger knife, like a chef's knife. This is the axe one. This is the truing tool. This is what you use when you wanna make sure that the stone is absolutely flat. So if your stone get out of level or out of like these little high bumps on it, there's a diamond cutter on here, and I probably should do that. But right now, what I wanna use is this guy. What I really wanna sharpen today is plane blades. So I just spent some time cleaning up this guy. It was dirty and it had a couple rust spots. I'll put a link to the video if you want to check out, but I was just trying it out, and like the blade needs to be sharpened a little bit. So let's take this apart and mount this and see how sharp we can get this guy. I'm gonna take this apart. When it comes to sharpening your plane blades, there are obviously lots of different ways you can do it. You can do it by hand, like Japanese waterstones are kind of fun. But if you have access to a machine like this, it is a lot quicker and very accurate too. I mean, it's nice to set everything up perfectly. One of the interesting things to pay attention to with this jig is this little groove right there, because that's where the blade will butt up against, and make sure that the angle here is 90 degrees. Like that. Okay, next we need to find the correct angle, right? So we're gonna put this on here. So we're looking to recreate the existing angle, right? So we need to lower this support down. It's like touching it just perfect. Let's raise this a little bit so we have some more water coming up. Okay, perfect. And let's start it up. Now, when you're sharpening a plane blade, if you're just going evenly on, in the middle of the sides, and you're pushing evenly on both sides, what will happen is you'll get more of a concave shape on the plane blade, and you don't want that. And if anything, you want a convex shape. So to combat that, and that would happen because it would just spend the middle just spends more time on the stone. So to avoid that, you want to like work on the sides some more, and you work on the sides by pushing down on either side as you're moving and then pushing the other side. So you kind of grind down the sides more than you do the middle. Put a little bit of extra pressure on the side here, and then I'll put a little extra pressure on that side there. I mean, you can see it against the light, right? It looks so cool. I have a little nick here. That must have happened before. I'm gonna do a little bit more. So I push on one side, I push on the other side. It's so beautiful. So what's kind of cool about the diamond stones is that normally if I would want to change the grit now, if I wanted to keep this grit, but I had multiple plain blades to do, I would have to take this off, now put another blade on, do it with this grit. And then once I've had done all my work on the one grit setting, I could change the grit with the stone. Then this is a little different, you know, the positioning there. Whereas in this situation, I don't have to do that. It's easy enough to just switch off the stone. So in order to take off the stone, remember we just go like that. It's very easy. And I'm gonna go with the fine stone. Slide this back on. And we don't have to change or do any settings, so we can just do the next level now. So we have a little bit of a burr, so we can do that on the honing wheel. And then I would say this guy is done. And the honing wheel here, I really just kind of prefer doing freehand. I just kind of put it on top. This is just beautiful right now. Should we put it back together again? We'll bring this, tighten this, tighten that. Okay, and we have a gorgeous sharp block plane blade. So I just switched the stone here to the coarse diamond stone, and that's because I want to do, I want to sharpen this chisel up. This is the chisel I've been using quite a bit lately when I've been working on my joinery videos, when I've been playing around with different joinery. So to do this guy, we're going to use the same jig. It's the same process really. This time I'm going to mark my edge because I forgot to do that last time, because that's always kind of cool, because then you can see where exactly have you been sharpening and not. Of course, bevels down like that. It's such a precise thing to get that angle just right, and you really do want to get it just right, because unless you want to, of course, change the angle. If we're curious as to what the angle actually is, because most chisels are like 25 degrees, maybe 20 for really fine work and 30 for really coarse work. So 25 is kind of a safe bet. So the current angle that I have it on right now is like 23 degrees. So marking is definitely useful, because when you look here you can see that I probably didn't have it quite right, because there's a fine black line at the top. I have now been cutting a little bit far down there, and if I want to set it the exact same, I should change my angle just a little bit. That way. So just did a tiny amount. And we have a beautiful new sharp edge. One thing that does kind of strike you as you're doing this is how quick it is to do each one. it's almost like, it's more like the setup and getting everything ready and the angle and all of that. That's what takes a little bit of time. But to actually just go through the motions of sharpening, I mean, that is very fast. So now I have a burr here, so let's put it on the there, and I would say this one's probably done. Should we do a little more before I take it off? I'll do a little more. So normally when I use my tools, when I do my woodworking, I do quite a lot of stropping. So, you know, I work on a joint or something, and then I take a moment and I just do a little stropping. And if you do that repeatedly, it makes such a big difference in terms of the sharpness of your tools. But then every now and then, once you've done that a fair amount of times, it's nice to come back to the sharpener and really, you know, get it set properly again. But that stropping, highly recommend stropping. Okay, so this one's looking good. Here's my jack plane that I use quite a bit, and you know, I was just thinking, if I'm going to be sharpening blades, I should really sharpen this guy as well, because it hasn't been done in a while, and I've been using this one quite a bit. It feels super dull. Let's actually make sure that you really do want to mark it, so you can see very clearly where you are cutting and where you're not cutting. But the angle of this one is, if it's 25, let's see what we're going to set it. So you can see that this one is a little bit off. Let's actually bring this one forth a little bit to get that same angle. Because too far down and you start touching, you don't want to do that. So now I'm just kind of letting it rest on there, so it is a perfect fit right there. And I'm butting it up again, so we have a perfect 90 degrees. And again, since it's the plain blade here, we want to avoid this concave shape. We prefer to have more of a convex shape, so we're going to push on each side a little bit to accomplish that. Look at this. So you could see that I haven't done enough on this side. I did a little too much on that side. So you can tell here that one side is being cut down a lot more, and this tells me this was not straight last time I did this. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but then it's nice to know that now you're getting it, you know, completely straight, especially when you have this 90 degrees here. So you can see here, like, there's a little bit of the light changes right there, so that's where I am right now. But I'd say that's pretty good. So you can also see the burr. So I'm going to put on a finer stone. We'll do one more pass and we're good with this one. One in. Goes in there. Beautiful. And then we bring this one there and it's done. And then we can advance it however far we need. Don't want to cut myself on the wood. It's kind of funny how I have a lot of these different jigs and stuff, but still I would say I use this one for the majority of the time, because chisels and hand planes, I mean, when it comes to woodworking, that's what you use, right? Although I do use the knife one as well quite a bit. I do find that one to be useful, whether you're doing kitchen knives or carving knives or whatever. Let me go and empty our water. And just see how much metal we actually ended up using here. It's quite incredible. This is where we have a magnet that sits on the other side, so we can scrape this all off. This metal sludge that we don't want, but that's quite a bit. I actually removed quite a lot of metal. So this is steel. So my tools are perfectly sharp right now, so I want to get working on some woodworking. I love that first feeling when they come out of the sharpener and they're like just great. So that sounds fun. Thank you for hanging out with me today and watching. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below, and I'll see you soon. You. Yeah. Let me see your face here. Clark. Cool guy. You're so funny.